Alright. Hello everybody. It's ET. It's the 34th episode. It's Thursday, September 3rd, 2015. Alright, so last time we talked about some player actions, and we're gonna do that. Oh my gosh, I hear myself. Hold on one sec. 2015. Ah! There I am. Yeah, it's kind of disorienting. You hear yourself, you're like, what's going on? I can't stand that I'm talking to myself. Oh, it's been 42 seconds and I'm starting the timer now. So, okay, I remembered at least 42 seconds in to start the timer. Alright, so I got a timer. Everything's going good. Alright, here we go. Let's open up Unity. And let's see what we've done so far. Okay. What did we do? So if I hit tab and I click on player, we see down here by my face player action, selected action is scoop. Let me do it finger first. Finger should not do anything. It shouldn't collect sand, which I know you can't really see it right now. There you go, now you see it. If I just click the ground, this shouldn't go up, nothing should happen, and no sand should do anything. So this is finger, and that, yeah, all it does is kind of digs in the sand. Okay. Scoop, on the other hand, should be fatter, and then at the end of the scoop, it should place sand, at least for now. I have a different idea that I'm going to try to implement now. Yep, it's fatter. And then bam, it drops all the sand there. So that's cool. Alright, so good. We got that started. Let's do what I talked about last time. So right now it's just depressing the sand as every update loop happens, right? And it won't depress the sand unless you move a certain threshold. So like if you're both, this is point 1 and this is update loop 1, update loop 2. If they're together like that, maybe it won't update. But if you have a far enough distance, it will update and basically add the next depression in the sand. I think I'm going to change that. I think what I'm going to do is once you get past this threshold, it's only going to depress this area, and it might actually increase this area. So whatever you took out of here will come out here. So that is the plan. So we'll definitely be messing with finger first, because I think that's what will tell me how it's working. So I'm going to change this default action to finger right now. And sorry I didn't really eat too much today, so I'm eating on the stream. Okay. Let's look at our scripts. Oh, I forgot to pop out chat too. That's probably important. Probably. Unless I want to just like do this on my own, but then why am I streaming, right? So I don't know. Always kind of have a self-conflict on like, should I be streaming? Should I just be doing this on my own? But I guess if I'm streaming, it's a lot more motivating, especially when someone comes in and says, "Hey, you're doing that wrong," and I'm like, "All right, fine. I'll try to do it differently." Maybe I'll be stubborn and just do it my way. All right. So what I'm doing? Scripts. Turn actions. I noticed there's a little like black line above my head. Kinda crop that out. There we go. Ah. There we go. I think I got it. Okay. Alright. So I know this is a huge ass script. And finger itself is huge. But let's think about what we're doing here. And we kinda have it written out here. Getting a point on the terrain, so I'm transferring all this like mouse cursor onto a point on the actual terrain. So that is great. I'm glad we're starting there. Probably don't need to debug that anymore. we're saying, hey, if the last position was empty, like say we just started clicking on the mouse, there was no last position, just return. But when you do this, when you do that check, it'll actually set a last position. So yeah. Then it says, hey, is what you're doing now, is this next action outside of the threshold? If so, yeah, I don't know if that's exactly the right wording for it, but if it isn't, then return. If it is, then continue onwards. Alright, so here we go. So we got point on terrain. Now we get the point on the actual height map. So that's important too. And then we get the last point on the height map, which is this. And then you can get a radius imp, and that's how big your brush is, or the radius of your brush starting from the middle. And let's see, we get the boundaries. Basically, if you have two updates, it gets the boundary of the entire thing. And let's see here. You get okay, then we convert these boundaries into the actual things we got to pass into the height map, and then we just get the height map here. So awesome. We got number of columns, number of rows, center 1, center 2. Okay, so here's where I got to start thinking. Did I drop that? That looks delicious. Okay. So center 1 is going to be the last point. That's going to be depressed. Everything between center 1 and center 2 should be depressed, but center 2 should be adding. So how are we going to do that? It's going to be this modify heights area, I think, or get mask. Maybe it's going to be get mask. Maybe. I'm so sorry, I spent like the first few minutes just eating and drinking, but I talked a little bit. Okay, here we go. So we got mask, and we got modify height. Mask is going to tell you what area of that thing we grabbed is are we drawing on, and then modify height is going to actually modify the height. But now we're going to do two different things. We're going to lower some places and raise some parts. So now instead of modify height, let's rename this right now to lower or depress height map. We're gonna call him names and just tell him how bad he is, and then we'll depress him. And then I kind of want to do the same thing. I think we gotta call this get depressed mask. Oh, so depressing. And then this time we're gonna get impress, get raise mask, and hopefully I'll just pass the same things, and we'll see if that makes any sense. And same thing with this. And we're gonna get raised mask, raised mask. And then we're going to raise height map. So hopefully that makes sense. We're not only depressing, we're gonna raise some of that sand. Okay, so let's see. I wonder if I hit Control M or MO. There we go. It's kind of like everything collapsed. So we got everything collapsed. We got depress height map. Let's go ahead and copy this, and this will be raise height map. So that should be taken care of. And what am I looking at here at the bottom? I really just want to see the errors, please. Oh, is this the error? Wait. What is down here? What am I looking at? Okay. This looks like the console. I don't want the console or the messages. Yeah, like this is what I want. Alright, so get raised mask. So we got raised height map. Let's go ahead and find get depressed mask. Copy that. I'll paste it below. Ooh, that's a big one. Alright, so we're gonna get raised mask. Raised mask. Okay. So what are we doing? We're getting a new mask. So the mask, what is it? For the center of circle 1, I'm gonna say 1. For the center of okay. Let me think about this. For the line between center 1, center 2, I'm gonna say 0. So that might give us a half moon shape in this order. I don't have my OneNote up, but I think that is the case. Actually, you know what? Screw everything else. I just want the circle around where my mouse is now. Okay, so I got a circle around center 2. Yes, because that's what's going to raise. And if it's dig size 1, just make the mask 1. Alright, cool. I think that's what I want for get raised mask. Okay. So it's under finger. Awesome. Alright, so let's actually look at this code. F12, raise height map. Okay, so let's see what we're doing here. What I really want to do is get reserves. I think Scoop is doing this. Let's get this happening in Scoop has... How am I getting reserves? All I gotta say is dig rate and mask. Okay. So we gotta get the reserves of what we digged out here. So we're gonna get the reserves. I'm almost just gonna make this a local, like a float. Reserves equals get reserves. And basically, I'm gonna just dump all the reserves we got right away without having to like keep this functioning or whatever. Okay, so so we got the mask. Now for raise height map, I'm gonna use reserves, so I've got to pass this as well. Because reserves will tell you how much sand to place back on everything. So, okay. That's gonna be another, and I might go back later and switch around everything, like where each argument is. But okay, so we have reserves. So we have reserves. What are we gonna do with the reserves? Reserves is the total amount of sand that we scooched over, that we dug out. So we want to place that at the end of what we're doing here. So just give me a sec to think about this. Gosh, sorry. So we have reserves. We already know that number, so I don't need to do anything. What I do want to know is when we are looking at the mask, so basically everything here, give me a sec. What I also want to do is maybe make a count. It's just going to be a single number. Float, not even float, int number of, it better be a float if it floats. Entire mask sum of mask. That makes the most sense because that's what we're trying to get. Okay, and then all we do is sum of mask plus equals mask column row. Why are you angry at me? I thought that's what you were. Use of unassigned local variable sum of mask. Oh, I guess it's unassigned. So let's go ahead and start it at 0. Okay, so now we know it's at 0. It's going to get the sum of everything. So we have the sum of mask. Float. Reserve per height cell. I think that makes sense. And basically we're going to get the reserves and we're going to divide it by sum of mask. So you evenly distribute the sand in the reserves across the entire circle. Okay, so all we got to do is now we're going to plus dig right here. And instead of dig rate, we're going to use, oh, do we even need dig rate then? Interesting. So instead of dig rate, we're going to use some of reserves per height cell. Okay. Let's get rid of this dig rate. Does that make sense? Will that work? Only one way to really tell, right? Test, test, test. Iterate, test, iterate, test, iterate, test, iterate. Okay. So hopefully we're on finger. And I totally broke it, it seems. So what did I do to break it? How is this all broken? Is it something to do with what I did here? If I comment all you out, are you still working? I hope you say no. That means, oh, you're still working. Okay. So whatever I'm doing here is screwing it up. But let me get the depressed mask one more time, or look at this code. Get depressed mask. Aww. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make U1, U1. Center 2. No, I'm gonna make center 2 0. Center 1. Make 0. So really we're only changing the place in between? Let me just try it out. This one's gonna look nasty, I think. And maybe I might need to raise the brush size just so I can see what's actually happening. I feel like that's not right. Why? Because I think it should be drawing a line, right? It's not drawing the line this time. That's what this part is about. Like, if I did nothing but draw the line in between both of them, that should be working. Yeah, that should totally be working. Alright, get ready. I'm doing something even crazier. Screw the circles, we're just drawing the lines in between. I don't see that there's a line being drawn. Come on, there's got to be a line being drawn right here. Things that make you go, So we got the mask. Oh, but now I got all this awesome Unity stuff. So hopefully I can do this and see what the mask is. Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. Are you playing in Unity? You're about to. I know it. I can feel it. I don't really know if I feel it. I think I might have just attached it. Not attached in play. That's okay. Here we go. Alright, mask. You're only 0, 0 pixels, so now you're only 1. Oh, so you're always gonna dig. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Because pixel size only 1. Alright, so yes, but crap. Uh, 156, 453, 157, 454. So how big is my X and Y? Or how big is my heights actually? 1 by 1, yeah. Crap-ola. Alright, let's get a bigger brush. Stop this breakpoint for now. Let's keep going. Are we paused? How does this work? How do I unpause? Do I just stop it? Are we playing? Okay. And do I just stop this for now? Alright. Still getting used to the Unity Visual Studio tools. Alright, so I kind of understand what's going on. Kind of. Still think a line should be drawn. But it might be something with my formula. With the 1 pixel. So if I made this bigger, if I go to player, and I made you like 5 pixel, just like Scoop, should be drawing lines. And I think it is. And it's kind of digging a little extra on the updates, which I kind of expected it to do that. Okay. Okay. Must fix. Well, before I even must fix, let's do a few things. Let's flatten the terrain. There we go. So we have a fresh thing. Let's see if any of this code is working now. Okay. It's pretty cool looking. So what it's doing, it's raising the sand as I'm digging the sand. But maybe I don't need to raise it as much as I'm digging. In fact, it'd be nice if the mask was like really light, heavier, and then at the end you'll just have this like heavy kinda where everything kinda drops. Yeah, but we're getting there. Like, look, that's becoming more like you're writing in the sand. Maybe a little too thick on the sides. But I can do that. I can just, what I can do is make that, change it with the mask. I'm thinking how to do that. Like I said, if I could somehow make a kind of a gradient where it's heavy in the front. Yep. So this stuff is sorry. I was gonna get Google, but I don't need to drag that whole window. Let's get a new one. This stuff is kind of things I gotta think about. Like, I really just want to have like a paintbrush, you know? Just something that's, I don't know. And I feel like this has been programmed a million times before. So, like, first thing I want to do is, okay, I know array, how to get a circle in an array, right? So that's not a problem. The gradient, so like gradient circle float array or something. That's what I want to program. And let's just do like C# or something. Alright, something like C# hardness brush. Array. But I hope you know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get like a circle with something solid in the middle and kind of, or basically a 1 in the middle, and then like 0.9, 0.8, 0.7, 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.1, 0. And I don't know exactly how or where I should do that. And man, maybe I just need my own like class of brush, and then we just basically paint the height map with our brush, right? Maybe that's what I need to do. And I know this is like way out of the scope that I'm thinking, but that's kind of the way I want to do it. Like, that's, sand is neither created nor destroyed, right? Like, you're just moving sand around. So I think I need to do that. I need to make a brush tool, basically input an array. But we don't need the whole array, we just need to modify the parts that we're adjusting. So we get the heights, that's great. Now if we want to draw a brush stroke from one point to another, that's another great thing. But now if we want to have gradients and everything, that's where I kind of start thinking, oh my gosh, what do I do? So I gotta really think about it. I guess I really should just grab my tablet and make an idea first. Let's see, like C#, paint program, brush, hardness, something like that. Like, cause really that's all they're doing, right? So you have an array of pixels, and then you're just dragging this brush around, and I'm doing basically the same thing. Oh no, I'm not gonna watch videos. This is not the time to watch videos. Shoot. Let me just go ahead and see what I gotta do. But this is what I'm trying to do, right? Like, have a gradient circle like that. Alright. Well, I think I'm gonna make do something crazy. And I'm going to just make a class by myself outside of Unity, or basically a C# class. And this is gonna be brush behavior, brush tool. Here we go. It's not going to be a mono behavior, it's just a class. Sure. So I won't use any of these functions. Might all just be static stuff. Okay. So first things first, we're gonna get a what are we gonna do? Mask, right? We gotta get mask. Mask is like the key to everything here. Get square mask. Could be size, width, height. Yeah, I know, I am not thinking straight. Alright, public, static. What are we returning? If this was a float, this is going to be get square mask, width, height, value. Of course, I'm not doing this exactly right because I need to specify what kind of things are they. If everything's afloat. Oh, no. Int width, int height, float value. Yeah. And by default, that should be 1. So you could just put in width and height, and you should get a. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You should get a square mask. All right, so basically, float square mask equals new float width height is that all I do? Yeah, and then for I could do for each, but I can also just say for int I equals 0, I less than width, I plus plus, and then we kind of just do the same thing for, oh my gosh, for j and height. So this is your typical loop that you see like a gazillion times everywhere. And then you just say square mask ij equals 0 equals value. Awesome. And so now you got a square mask. Oh, and return that float. Return square mask. Cool. So that's your square mask. And then circle mask. Circle mask is going to be similar, but all we're going to do is just get a radius. Even better, diameter. Okay, so the circle mask is very similar. It's going to be diameter by diameter, and this is what we'll do. I'll just go ahead and, oh, we don't have a vector too. So we're going to go ahead and say float radius equals diameter divided by 2. And so now that we got a radius, yeah, we don't even have a distance formula, so let's just go ahead and put that in there. Static float distance x r. I don't know, what kind of functions do we have? Vector 2? Do we have a vector 2? Oh. Oh, because we're using Unity engine. Should I just use Unity's vector 2, or should I? Yeah, F it. F it, we're using vector 2. Awesome. So vector 2 center equals new vector 2 radius radius. Alright, great. And so we got the center, and then all we gotta do for all the points is if the if new vector 2 ij, we got to do a distance. If vector 2 dot distance new vector ij and center is less than, I guess I'll do equal to radius. Not quite. We'll do this. Square mask equals value. So sometimes this won't be that, and yeah, should be fine. So okay, we got square mask, we got circle mask. Diameter and value. Very nice. I almost don't even want to put a value. That's okay. And you are no longer square mask. You should be a circle mask. Circle mask. That's the only two I'm really gonna do. Okay. So we got circle mask, got square mask. Okay, what was I doing? Oh, maybe draw a line. Alright, so we have a float. Draw a line. Yeah, give me a sec, give me a sec. So draw a line is basically gonna be yeah, before I even start, how this work with a 1. So say I got int diameter 1, radius is 0.5, this is 0.5, you're gonna be true if the distance between 0, 0 and center is less than or equal to radius, which should be fine. No, the distance between that is going to be 0.5 squared. Sorry for the detour, just need to figure it out. 0.5 times 0.5 0.5 squared plus 0.5 squared. Yeah, plus itself, and then we square root that. Yep, that's the distance it's gonna really be. So it's gonna be blank. So that's not exactly what I want to do at a 1, but at 2, it should be fine. Yeah, because at 2, I wonder if I should like offset these by half radius. No, half, just half a pixel. Like, you always offset it by 0.5. That way, gosh, I wish I could draw a picture right now. I mean, I can, it's just not going to look good at all, which I guess is okay, but this is, I want this to look good. Alright, so here we go. Just, figuring out masks, right? And so, I'm going to just ink it, even though I'm drawing with my mouse and it's going to look awful. Okay, so, if we have a square, this is a 1 pixel. Our radius is going to be this, 0.5, which I can't really type right now. Sure I can. 0.5 radius, 1 diameter. Yep. So we got 0.5 radius, 1's the diameter. Alright, so the distance, there's no quick tools for this, huh? Alright, I'll use a different color. Okay, so this will be 0.5, this will be 0.5, this will be 0.7. So my my array loop over here is basically saying, hey, this is the center. Let's get a green, I guess. So this is the center. This is the point. Is this less than 0.7 or 707? And I mean 0.5, and this could be like, no, this is 0.707. It's like, okay, this pixel means nothing to me, so the mask could just be 0 here, and that's not what I want. I want it to be 1. So I went ahead and just offset everything. So 0.5 plus 0.5. So is 0 basically less than radius, which is yes. So for that 1 pixel, it makes sense. Alright, so now let's go to a bigger one. Let's do like a big cube like this. It's going to be 2 by 2. Center is going to be, the radius is going to be 1. Center is going to be 1, 1. Initially, if I don't put the 0.5, it's going to be like 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. And I think that's it, right? So it's going to ask, hey, is 0, 0? Is that less than 1? And it's like, nope. How about this? Less than or equal to 1? Yes. So this one's going to be filled. This one is going to be filled. And this one will be 0. So this one will be filled. So this is what it's giving me. Right now, how I have the code set up. And that's not what I want, actually. I just realized I need to offset everything by 0.5. So this is good code, I think. At least now we got the centers of the grid, and so, oh gosh, when I get that little dot, I can't really see it. All right, so now if I get the centers instead, this should be better. So if I get the centers here, yeah. So if I get the centers, sorry. These should all be less than 1 because they're 0.5, 0.5. Oh, and we actually know it now. So this is 0.5. This is 0.5. This distance is 0.7. So 0.7 is less than 1. So perfect. That will get it. And let me just do one more grid once I find my mouse again. Alright, so here we go. This is my last grid. This is going to be a 3 by 3. Just make sure it kind of looks like a cross, I guess. That's what I want to know. Alright, so here we go. My diameter is 3, so my radius is 1.5. So this distance is going to be no, it's just going to be 1 by 1. So 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1, square root of that is 1.4. So I lost my my inky, my blue pen. So this is the problem here. This will be 1 unit. That's less than radius. This is 1 unit. This is going to be 1.4. 1.4. So it's going to fill this entire thing. So 3 by 3 is not going to have a cross. It's just going to be filled. So that's not favorable. I wish these would not be filled, but maybe that's okay. Let's just go a little bit bigger and then I'll stop. So here we go. I'm gonna try to do this right. So here we go, a 4 by 4. The middle's here. I'll go ahead and use different colors. The middle is here. So this will be 0.7, and this should be like 1.4, I think, or 0.7 plus 1.4. So this should be like 0.2 something, 2 point something. And to really get that, it's really 1.5 by 1.5. So if you did Pythagorean's theory, 1.5 squared times 2. Oops. Yeah. Alright, look. 1.5 squared plus 1.5 squared equals 4.5. And then you take the square root of that. It's 2.12, which is actually going to be less than, greater than 2. So what will happen is you won't fill up. You will, I believe. Oh, I don't know about that one yet. I know you will. I know you will. I know you will. I know you will. Because I know those are less than 2 for sure. Because that's the radius too. Alright, just right quick. We're going to have 1.5 and then 0.5. So 0.5 squared plus 1.5 squared equals 2.5. Square root that 1.5, which is less than 2. So yeah, you'll be good. We know for sure you won't happen because you're just the same distance. You're the same distance. So okay, yeah, it'll make a circle. It just won't actually look like a circle until after after a what am I trying to say? Oh, jeez. Oof. After 3x3. So 4x4 is when it starts to take that circle shape. So yeah, and I don't think there's anything I can really do to not because this is what the circle is doing. I think this is the circle I'm drawing. Yeah, that's actually a better idea. It hits all these points. So basically, include it. That midpoint's included. That midpoint's included, and that midpoint's included. So all these midpoints, even here, here, all of this. So this entire thing's good. But if I start drawing a circle here, 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 and here, I'll try my best. This circle is going to exclude that, exclude that, exclude that guy, exclude that guy. So there we go. That's how my grid is getting kind of formed. Those X's won't be showing, so that's zeros on my mask. Everything else is 1. Yeah. Alright, so how much? 46 minutes in. Great, and we did like almost nothing. But we need to understand this. Okay, so we're figuring out the masks. Okay, so that's good. It basically will start to take circle shape after 3, which is fine. It's perfect. Okay, excellent. So 0.5 is what I have to do. This is a perfect circle. Now if we're going to draw a line, this is going to be kind of weird. I think I'm going to just get 2 points. Vector 2, point 1, vector 2, point 2, and float size. Okay. First of all, we know that if you have a brush size of this big, or whatever, even if it's square, let's just assume square because that's the biggest area you can use within a square, right? And then circle is just an area within the square. Ellipse will be an area within a square. But square is basically going to be your biggest shape that you can fit in a grid. So we're going to kind of just assume square, but then all the other shapes should apply to this draw line function. Okay. So if we know that, we have, I'll keep using this because I kind of like having visuals. Alright, so we have 0.1, 0.2. And we have a size of the brush. Oh yeah, I'm saying it's square. So we have a square brush like this, a square brush like this. We're going to need to basically have this. We're going to have to add. So imagine now we drew a grid around here, right? And so my line is going to be all these points. Okay, so we're going to make basically this is 0.1, this is 0.2, and then we're going to draw a line basically between all of that. So fill that in, fill that in, fill that in. But say it's a thicker brush, right? So say it's, I don't know, I'll use blue for that. Say the brush size is actually 2 or 3 or something. We'll say 3, right? So it's actually going to fill in all these extra blue pixels. And so because it's filling in all those extra blue pixels, we're going to have to expand the grid just a bit. So Anyway, I hope that makes sense. So because we have to kind of expand the grid some, we're gonna have to figure out how much we need to expand the grid by first. And we're just gonna take the size of the brush. You could divide by 2 and then add it to both sides, or you could just say grid size, basically the difference between 0.2 and 0.1 plus size. So that's how I'm going to handle that. So so what we're going to do is not even int. We're going to do float width equals 0.2 dot x minus 0.1 dot x plus size. And then we just do the same thing for height. Oops. And that would be y's. Okay, so now we got the height. And we're just going to assume that the size is always going to be a box. It has to be of even, has to be a square or a circle, not a rectangle or a, well, a square is a type of rectangle, of course, but it has to be a square or it has to be a circle. It can't be an ellipse and it can't be a long triangle, elongated triangle, rectangle. Okay. So we got the size of the brush, we got the width, the height. Now what do we do? We basically do that loop, the 2 or 3 loops that I had. Oh yeah, and we're gonna need value, right? Float value, and we can just say that's equal to 1. Okay, sorry, just thinking. So this is what's kind of weird about this one though. So if I drew a point from 0, 0 to 1, 1, I'm thinking about it. And let me just go ahead and, or even better, we'll have it 3 by 3 again. So if I'm drawing a point from here to here, I really just need to fill in that middle one, right, to have a line. But this is what we're saying. We're saying, hey, go ahead and add, your brush size is going to be 1, so you're going to have to add another row and column. Not necessarily that way, but you get the idea. Now, draw your square around here, which will just be that dot, and draw your square around here. Now draw everything in between. So that will work. But, and look, this will be 1. Yeah. I'm thinking, sorry. So, okay, so now we have this. And actually, if I wanted to draw this a little more correctly, I would probably not use that. This is me expoing. This is now x0, x1, x2, x3, and y3. That's how I perceive it in my mind. I mean, this is how I think of it visually in my mind. So you will still be at 3. Oh, and then we okay. Yeah, in fact, yeesh, man, my brain's not doing what it does. Alright, if we're thinking just the float, right? The float would have it halfway, so we'd kind of just add everything like this, right? So how would we offset this in this case? This is half. Everything's half around. Half. I think what I would do is I would shift it one way. Like I'd probably shift it this way, and then this would shift this way. So what would end up happening is gosh, yeah, my mind's not working on this. So it'd basically be math floor, but I need to think maybe in a bigger brush size. So but I can't draw it for crap on this thing right now with just the mouse. And my brain's not working either. That doesn't help. Okay. Let's say I'm drawing a point from here. No. Let's make it right. From here to here. Okay. Brush size is going to be 3 by 3. Nope, let's make it interesting. 2 by 2. So it's going to be halfway, like this. This is the 2 by 2. Okay, in 2 by 2 situation, let me go ahead and select this and make a copy of it because I feel like I'll talk about this in 3 by 3. Oops. Oh, come on. How do I copy things? Copy, paste. Okay, cool. Okay, that's what I want. Okay, so that's the 2 by 2. Let's talk about how we're going to expand this. And then what cells we're going to use. Alright, so ideal. Okay, yeah, let's do ideal issue, and that will be what we do in red here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rows, and we're trying to draw 6 across. Something like this, I guess, would be ideal. And then this is how we would want it, I think. Something like this, right? So that's how we would want this to draw. But you can see that it doesn't line up with the grid. The grid, we're like in 0.5s and everything, so that's not exactly how we want it. So do we just re-gridify this? Maybe. But how would we do that? You're a half. You're a half. I know it doesn't look that way because I can't draw with my mouse. Okay. And these are sometimes the times I think I just need to like log off and do this on my own. But you know what? I'm here. We're together. Let's just do it. What am I thinking here? I want to draw a line. I want to get all these grid points selected, but I also want to expand the grid. Like, I think it would make sense just to expand it left by half of my brush size and expand it right by half my brush size. But leads to a little confusion because I really want the centers to be where my is that what I want to do? Actually, we're just passing in 2 points in space, right? So that's no problem. The 2 points of space are like kind of in a grid. They don't have to be though. So we need that distance and that distance to see how much of the grid do we need to add. Okay, and then we'll get the floor of that. So we get the floor of this, we get the floor of this, or the ceiling of that. Basically, you're dealing with the mins, you get the floor. If you're dealing with the maxes, you get the ceilings. So even if you go 0.1 over, you're going to go ahead and grab the ceiling of that. Okay, I think I get that part. Gosh, that took me forever. So, we have size, and this is not exactly right. Or is it? Yeah, I think that might be right. It's the minimums and the maxes, the boundaries, right? So the boundaries are going to be top left, top right. So okay, we need the boundaries. You know what? I think this is better to just think about it in one dimension right now. That way I can just draw one single line. So say we want to get something this big, and we draw this one dimension, but say the size of the brush is this big. So how long do we actually need to make this line? And I suggest we just add this and this, which is actually the entire size, which that is correct. So we actually do have a correct width and height. Okay. I'm actually sold. Okay, that makes sense. Think in one dimension, ET. That's much better. Okay, but now, how do we start making this a grid, I guess? We basically get the width, which is now this number, and you get the ceiling of it, honestly, right? Your width is going to be the ceiling of this because it's got to fit the entire thing, and even if the width kind of ends here, like one of the grids, you're going to have to use the rest of this in some shape or form or fashion, and depending on where this is, it will fill this in or not. So int width, I know it's not going to really let me do this, will be mathf.ceiling. And the float will be width. Height int is going to be the ceiling of the height. And maybe I'm doing something wrong here. Oh, it's weird that returns an int, right? I wonder if there's like a ceiling to int. Oh yeah, that's a lot easier. Okay, so here we go. We got width, height, ceiling to int, ceiling to int. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. So we got a grid that takes into account the brush size, but we don't have, I guess, the initial point, right? So if we just want to draw a line within this vector, even if we had a huge huge brush size, say we just wanted to draw the single line from the point 1 to point 2, how do you do that? So basically just the two blue dots here, like between these two blue dots, how do you draw just that line? Like, how do you determine where this and this are and what floating point it is and everything? So we got the width, we got the height. We basically need the offset of 0.1 and the offset of 0.2, which is still going to be like height. float offset's going to equal to size divided by 2. I think that's what I want. I'm thinking. Alright, I think this is where we're going to need to get the boundaries, right? I think so. Sorry, thinking. If I modify X and Y, I guess it modifies it for the object, and we don't want to do that for these two things because that's kind of immutable. Goodness, why can't I think of this? Let's just call this vector2 local point 1, and so instead of using the global coordinates, we're going to use more of a local coordinate system. That's what we're doing. So that's what I couldn't get my mind around. What were we trying to do here? Basically, we're getting passed in something in global units, and we want to make a box of local units, and basically we're just going to use the 2 points to kind of make a local system. And so the local system will now be somewhere between 0 and the width, right? And so local point 1, so this is how we're going to do it. Let's just go ahead and initialize these both things. Local point 2. So okay, let's go local point 1 x. Local point 1 dot x is going to be okay. If point 1 dot x is less than point 2 dot x, here we go. This is where it gets crazy. Okay, dot x. All right, here we go. If point 1 dot x is less than point 2 dot x, you're just gonna be size divided by 2. And that's true. Otherwise, you'll be width minus size divided by 2. Might as well just have it size divided by 2, half size, because we'll be doing this a lot, and I guess this is a little more optimum code, maybe. Maybe the compiler would have called it. Alright, so we got half size. So either you're on the left end of the local space or you're on the right end of the local space. So that's what we're doing. And then we're just going to follow that same formula for everything. So local point y, if point 1 dot y is less than point 2 dot y, half size Actually, you could almost, yeah, let's make these if statements. And I know I just deleted a whole bunch of code that's probably useful. Alright, so if point1.x is less than point2.x, local point1.x is going to equal let's see, yeah, local point1.x is going to equal let's go ahead and put brackets. What are you going to equal local point1.x? You're going to be half size. And then local point2.x is going to equal width minus half size. And then else, come on, else, give me a better bracket left setup. We're just gonna flip these. Something like that. And then we'll do the same for point 2. I mean, y. Now let's try to use this tool. Alright, cool. So, we're just saying, hey, if point1.x is less than point2, go ahead and make you half size with half size. And then without the width, let's go ahead and say you are height. I hope that makes sense and works, more importantly. Alright, now we're in 11 minutes. Man, I am running late. But, you know, I'm making progress now, so I hate to stop. Float. So now we got two points in local space of brush size, and all we got to do now is just check. Yeah, I mean, we just have to do some for loops and we're done. I'm gonna leave it like this. I can't think of how I want to redo that. Okay. So we got local coordinates using local point 1 and local point 2. Now we just need to draw something. Basically a grid. Okay. I think I'm going to steal some of these loops here on depress height map, maybe? Yeah. They won't be exactly this, but hopefully it makes sense. I'm not using X and Y, right? Okay, cool. Let's not do any of this right now. Control K, Control C. Let's uncomma U, Control K, Control U. Alright, so we have, instead of row, I'm going to rename you to X. Right, so that's your X coordinate. If X is less than width int, so this is for every pixel in this local mask that we're making, right? Oh, I guess that's what I didn't create. So now that we have width int and height int, we also need to make what we need to return. So we're going to make a float blind mask, and this is going to equal float, a new float, and this will just be width int and height int. Okay, So now we have a new line mask. So we got with int, yep, and then y is going to equal 0, except I shouldn't do it like that. We should do the rename tool, that way I only have to do this once. Y, and you'll be a height int, y++. Okay, and so now all we got to do is say, hey, is the vector2 of, so instead of center 1, I think we're using local point 1. Hey, are you within the distance, not the radius, but the half size, which I could just call radius. Why not? Are you within the radius of See, that will make circles though, and I don't know if we want circles. I kind of just want to say this is how you make circles. It's okay. It's gonna just have to be a circle now. This makes it a circle. Okay. If you are within it, all you gotta say is line mask x y equals value. And guess what? This code is virtually the same except it's line point 2. And we could simply just have an else if here. I might just do it. What happens if I did that? If I did that, I think that works. Else if. And then we're going to have another else if. So I'm going to delete all this. So we don't have a get line distance formula, so I am totes my goats going to steal it from here. Public static float get line distance vector 1, vector 2, and point. So now we're going to say local point 1, local point 2, x, y, less than or equal to radius, else if, and then under that else if there should be another if, check within both hypotenuses. I'm going to go ahead and just steal this function. I don't really know if there's like a different way to say this. Public static, check within both hypotenuse. We have, yep, center 1, which is local point 1, center 2, which is local point 2, x and y. And then if it is, guess what? Line mask is going to equal to value. Okay, I like all of this except maybe this thing could be refactored into something. I just wouldn't know exactly what to refactor it into and how. Okay, but it's looking pretty good. We're not returning though what we need to return, which is line mask. So I think this part I need to like put into a function, but I just don't want to do it right now because I can't really put it in my brain how I wanted to redo this. I can. Alright, let's just do it. Just because I really want this to look a lot better. Vector 2, local point 1 should be get local point this would be This is what I'm gonna say. 0.1, 0.2, and then look, I'm gonna generate this function, and then at the bottom where I actually did it, this would be point, and I'll just rename. Oh, sorry. This. Okay, nothing's actually pointing to it, and this would be other point. And then basically, we take this code, and we kind of only have to look at if point X is less than other point X. Vector 2 local point. There we go. Local point dot X is this, and it's not radius, but it'll be, yeah, we'll need that too. Float value. Nope, we actually need radius, I think. Radius, and then we can just say, hey, else you're gonna be this. Something like this. Point 1, point 2, we're just say point and other point. Something like this. Local point Y. Alright. We could totally make this even better if we wanted to. You could say local point dot X equals. This is the one line kind of representation of all of this. We'll say radius or width minus radius. And then we'll do the one line thing of this, which is Y. I don't know why I didn't just do this to begin with. Something like that. So, and then we're just going to return local point. And I think all I got to do here is delete that. Vector 2 local point 2 is going to equal get local point 0.2, 0.1, and then there we go. We got both. What am I missing? Oh, we need radius, width, and height. Radius, width, and height. And I'll do that twice. Okay. That looks good. So we're getting radius, we're getting the width, the height, the width int, the height int, and then we get a line mask, local point 1, local point 2, and then we're just drawing a line with it. Okay. So let's just let me just kind of practice this in my head, just using 1. So if I get 1, radius is 0.5. Oh, and what are we drawing? Let's just say the width and the height are between these 2 points are 2 and 2. So this will be 3, 3, 3, 3. You'll get a 3 by 3 line mask. Awesome. Local point. Let's see how this works. Yeah, I think X will be, so it'll be radius. So you'll be at radius, radius. You'll be at 3 minus radius, so 2.5, 2.5. Cool. And then you go through each one, and then you just see, hey, Oh, I gotta check this whole thing with the hypotenuse thing. Check 1. We're just seeing if you're less than or equal to the hypotenuse. So, yeah. Oh, that hypotenuse check is fine. It's this one I'm worried about, and that looks good. Get line distance. How do you get line distance? Yeah, I believe you. I mean, I don't see why I wouldn't believe you. So that. Okay, I feel good. I feel good about all of that. I think I feel pretty good about all that. So can we use this in our actual terrain action? So I'm basically trying to refactor all this out. So I really don't want to have get line distance on terrain action. I don't really want to have check in with, yeah, I don't want any of that. But just by doing that, I think I opened up a can of worms for sure. How do I expand everything? If I go to edit, outlining, toggle outline expansion, So if I went here, so it just toggles that one. Okay, that's good to know. Control toggle all outlining. ML, stop outlining. Let's try ML first. Oh, nice. Okay. I like ML. It kind of like says, hey, collapse all or don't collapse all or expand all. Alright, ML's pretty cool. Control M, Control L. Alright, so what did I screw up? I know I did a whole bunch of stuff that I screwed up. Alright, get line distance. Yeah, I screwed all that code up. So you know what this calls for? Commenting. I probably... Oh, is that the only one that's using that? Okay. Nice. I know this matters nothing to y'all, but if I can refactor this now, I think I'll save my sanity later. Goodness, but I'm running so late. But I gotta go. I gotta do this. Gotta get this done. Alright. Point on height map blast. Yep. I almost just need these 2 points, right? And then I can get a line between them. Alright, I'm stepping down, so my head's gonna be kind of low. Sorry, I just need to kind of stretch out my back. So what am I thinking? What's get height maps doing? It's getting a width, it's getting a height, and then it's getting the heights. Okay. It'd be nice to have the width and the height accessible, which I kind of do. Number of columns, number of rows. Okay, so that is the width and the height. Okay. Good. Good to know. So we got the width, we got the height. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. Cause check this out. I could just make you Control R. You could be the height, and you could be the width. And I really just want to name you X, and I really just want to name you Y. What do you think, huh? Oh, you don't like that because you already other stuff's already named that? That's okay. Base X, base Y, X, Y. I like this better. I'm feeling better about this. And now, check this out. I'm gonna just delete you guys, and it's be like, oh my gosh, you just deleted the width and the height. And I'm like, I know. But check this out. I can go to get, oops. Alright, instead of going crazy, I'm just gonna go here, hit F12. We get the int and the width back to where it was, which was right after base and height. And I realize maybe there's a function here, so we don't actually need to do the casting here. Awesome! We don't have to do any of this casting, as I know now. I don't like it. I rather get ceiling to int. Yeah. Except not to int to int. That's just silly. Ceiling to int to int. Alright, ceiling int, ceiling int. So there we go. We got the floor for the X and the Y, the ceiling to that. Cool. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, that makes sense, and that looks good. Let me keep going. Place rate. Okay, and look, I think height, this only has one line of code, which, if that's the case, I don't actually need you at all then. So, got rid of a function. At the expense of adding 1 or 2 lines, but I got rid of 2 lines, so we broke even, which is just fine by me. And we made you base X and base Y. Alright, so this is looking good. I'm feeling more confident about this code. Just had to get confident with it. Alright, so yeah, I did this, but this is not the code I want to be modifying. Thank you, but this is not the right code. Not yet, at least. Alright, so let's go to finger. Yeah, I know. I screwed you up. Maybe if I did this, you'll feel better. Oh, with the min and max. Yeah, I hope you feel better about that. Gosh, I'm breaking all this code, and I hope this is finger. Oh, thank God. Okay, so we got finger. No problem. You are base X. You are base Y. I probably have to fix you down here somewhere. Base Y. Base X. Alright, hopefully that's all. Finger. Okay, so that looks fine. Point on map, radius. Think I need the radius. Think I need the radius int. Which now I realize I don't have to do all this. Learning is fun. Floor to int. Okay, min, max, that looks fine. Base X is this. Width, height, floor. We don't need you anymore. I'm gonna just rename you. You're not gonna like it. And I'm gonna name you height. And yeah, you're gonna be like, you're silly. But then I realized, hey, I don't even need those because they're the exact same things. Okay, so I got width, height. Center 1, center 2, awesome, all that sounds great. Alright, so I think this is where I'm going to start modifying stuff. Let's just say, okay, I got center 1 and center 2, that's cool. And center 1 is basically Right, so we're just offsetting the global to the local space just by subtracting the minimum of x and the minimum of y, which is perfect. That's exactly how you're supposed to do that. Oh, is that how you're supposed to do that? Let's go back here. I don't think that's how I'm doing it. I'm saying I'm checking between the two, and I'm saying, hey, I'm sorry, I'm thinking. If local x is on the left of other point, you're gonna be, let's say radius is 0, right? Just so you have the actual point. You're gonna either be 0 or you're gonna be right. So if you're here or over here, you're gonna be width. So you'll be width here. And if width is 0, you'll just be 0. But if width is 1, you'll be 1, which is cool. Okay. I think this works too. Gosh, there's two different ways to do that exact same thing. But I'm not looking for that just yet. Say I just wanna say I'm ignoring this for now. Say I'm ignoring center 1, just doing center 2. I'm not going to do any of this code. In fact, I'm not going to do a lot of this code. I just want to see if my mask works. So really, do I even want radius int? I don't think I want radius int. Definitely want radius. I mean, yeah, I don't want any of this. I think I'm just starting from scratch, it looks like. Okay, that's okay. That's okay. Let's go ahead and get our int base x. So really, we got point on height map, right? So point on height map is important. So we can just say, hey, point on height map, math.floor to int, math.f.floor to int is going to be point on height map dot x. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, I gotta send one quick text and then I will be back. Yep, still streaming. See you in a bit. Alright, I really gotta go soon. Getting text already to get out of here. Alright. I'm gonna do this one last thing and then I'll call it quits. I might do this a little bit off camera and I'll come back with the solution just because I know this stuff's kind of boring to watch and I don't want to put you through this drudgery. But at the same time, I'll just record it and I'll just not, I don't know what I'll do. We'll figure it out. Alright, point on height map.x minus what am I thinking? Just radius what am I thinking? Oh yeah, it's point on height map dot x minus radius. Yeah, okay. Phew. Brain's broke. Base y is going to be point on y minus radius. Excellent. Now the width and the height. Width is going to equal math f.floor. Okay. dot x plus radius. I don't think that's right. It's I mean it is right, but it's gonna be point oh yeah, it's actually gonna be just dig size. Oh yeah, that's convenient. We already had this, so int width, int height is dig size, so that's very convenient. Okay, so we got heights, and all we want to do at heights now is brush tool dot get circle mask. We're gonna say the diameter is dig size, and we'll just say that, and we can just say float mask equals kind of that same thing. Okay, so we got heights, we got mask, and then we just need some kind of tool to say apply brush tool dot apply mask, and it's just going to take the heights and the mask. Something like that. Yep, apply mask. First we're going to check I don't really want to do this check. I will. Assert? Is there an assert? No? Alright, I won't do the check. For now, we just gotta know that heights and mask must equal to do make check that heights and mask must equal. Okay. Yeah. For int x equals 0, x less than heights dot get. Oh, that sucks. Is bool flip xy, and by default that'll be true. Alright, let's see. Int x sorry, just thinking. Heights dot count get length 0 x plus plus for int y equals 0, y less than heights dot get. Actually, let's do mask. That way I know I'm not getting myself confused. Get length 1 y plus plus mask. No. Heights. If flip xy heights yx equals mask xy times heights. We'll just say times equals. Yeah, that makes sense. Times equals mask. Else it's just the other way around. Not that I actually have to do that check, but I might as well. Okay, oh my gosh, I really just want to hit play and see if it works, but I know I didn't finish it yet. Let's go back to my other code, terrain action. So we have apply mask to heights, and then we're setting the heights. So all I want to see if that works. If that works, I'll call it a day. And I'm just hoping to any kind of god out there that it does. Okay. It's doing some weird stuff, but I think it's at least the start of what I wanted it to do. It's applying the mask. Oh, but that's all it's doing, is applying a mask. And the mask will be like 1 or 0, right? It's weird that it just goes down that far. It should go... Oh, that's where the milk is. It's actually probably going all the way down to 0. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't know if that's what I want to do, but yeah, with the value. Or the rate. Yeah, that's what I gotta do. Almost there, almost there. So float is a the rate is a float, and basically this is what we'll do: plus equals mask times rate, and that's what we have to do. I think that's right. And we didn't actually put a rate in the terrain action, did we? Rate is not right, so we can say dig rate, and I'm going to say negative dig rate. That should work. That's gotta work, right? No, it's still like going to 0, I think. Oh no, it's not bad. I think it's working. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna assume it's working just cause I gotta go. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Stop playing, player, dig rate. Yeah, dig rate's fine, that's what I've been using. I think it's just how fast it's doing everything. And there's no threshold thing, so that's the other problem. Where is there? I think there is a threshold. Yeah. It's just super sensitive now, and I don't know why, but I'm not going to question it right now. But this is just on the update loop, that's all I'm doing, is getting that. So, okay. We're back to like square one-ish, but now we're refactoring it so it uses a brush tool instead of putting everything into terrain tool, just so later I can start adding different functionality and everything. Alright, my CPU is going out of whack for some reason, so I'm going to close out Unity. I'm going to save it. Oh, good. It crashed. Okay, I'll close everything else out. Alright, everybody, had a great time. Sorry it was so long and it's a lot of coding, and it's probably going to be a lot more coding. But if you enjoyed it, great. I will catch you guys next time. You can follow me on Twitch at ETdoFresh. You can view these videos, this video and other videos on my YouTube channel on youtube.com/ETdoFresh. I have a playlist of just everything I've been doing for this game. And that's it. The link to the YouTube video is right below me. And yes, I will be doing more coding and more boring stuff for the next couple of episodes. So if you want to see that, great. If not, all good too. See you guys later.